welcome to another episode of Legalese Translator. My name is Heather Hurlitun, and joining me here is Toronto civil litigator Heather Douglas. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
In another episode, Heather talked about the different meanings of the word jurisdiction. There's actually also another additional phrase that comes up every so often, and that is courts with inherent jurisdiction. So, for example, I was on the Ministry of Attorney General website. On the page, it says, for example, here, the Superior Court of Justice in Ontario has inherent jurisdiction over criminal, civil, and family cases. So, Heather, what does this phrase mean, inherent jurisdiction?
Inherent jurisdiction refers to the jurisdiction of superior courts. So the Superior Court in Ontario includes, one, the Superior Court of Justice, and it also includes the Court of Appeal, and we can also say extend it to the Divisional Court. Those would include Superior Courts of Record. And the names have changed so frequently over the years, but the purpose of when we're thinking of superior courts is to trace it back to their historical roots. So these courts have a long history, and they actually date back to our connection to England. And England, they themselves also had courts, and we adopted their court system and a lot of their laws when Canada formed, but also before that when we were Upper Canada as well. And so these courts have a long history with a jurisdiction. Currently, they can hear all civil and criminal matters, unless a statute or some other law, which would be likely legislation, would oust their jurisdiction. And so sometimes a jurisdiction might be delegated to an administrative body, in which case you would have to go to that tribunal. But the default is that unless stated otherwise, these courts can hear all civil and criminal matters.
Oh, that's a really interesting explanation. So, Heather, can you give us an example of, you mentioned tribunals. Can you give us an example of a tribunal that has the jurisdiction that's been granted to it by legislation?
Yeah. So in one example is like the Landlord and Tenant Board. They deal with disputes between residential landlords and their tenants. So if you have an issue that comes under that jurisdiction, then you're going to go to the tribunal as opposed to the court. Before these tribunals existed, the default would be going to the court. And so that's when we talk about inherent jurisdiction, it really deals with the Superior Court's authority to handle all these matters. And that would be the default. So nowadays, with the growth of administrative bodies, we have a lot of tribunals. We also have different courts that are inferior courts, not that they're bad judges or anything, but that their authority would come more from legislation as opposed to coming from their historical roots that date back all the way to England.
Oh, that's really interesting. So, but now, if I didn't know better and I went to the Superior Court for, say, a landlord-tenant matter, what happens, like, in real life? Like, did they dismiss my claim? Like, what happens? Does the counter clerk say go away? Like, I mean, I just, like, what happens in practical terms?
Usually the other side, the opposing party, will bring a motion saying something to the effect of either trying to dismiss the claim or strike the claim, or just saying that the court doesn't have jurisdiction. An example might be you have an arbitration clause. A lot of agreements now, they have clauses that mandate arbitration, and depending on how the clause is worded, it might bind the court to say, actually, we can't deal with this matter. It has to be dealt with arbitration. A common example might be like labor disputes that go to arbitration.
Those are great examples, Heather. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to grab my script again because I keep forgetting. Thank you so much, Heather, and thank you for everyone for watching. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on that bell so that you can be notified of our upcoming videos. And if there are words that you'd like us to do a video on, just drop us a line in the comments below, and we'll do a video for that. So thank you very much, and thanks, Heather, again.
Well, thanks for having me.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.